Hello, welcome to another video on the channel. Today we will tell you 3 stories about real ghosts. Let's go to the first story. Hi, my name is Patricia and this story happened directly to me and I'm going to tell you my history. I went for lunch at my boyfriend's aunt's house. It was in the interior, a place of farms and ranches. Near the house, the neighbors were most of the family, uncles, cousins. This aunt of my boyfriend was the person who raised him, since his mother had died in his childhood. I didn't know anyone from his family yet, so he took advantage of this lunch to introduce myself to the family. Everyone was gathered for his grandmother's birthday, which was like a matriarch in that family. Everyone insisted on treating me very well and left me willingly. Certain time after lunch, I started to see a girl. She was very pretty. She wore a dress, black with white details. Soon I found it strange because my boyfriend had introduced me to all the members of the home, and I hadn't seen that girl around. So I decided to ask my boyfriend who was that girl I had seen. He replied that he didn't know, but she could be invited by someone who was there. I began to observe more closely and realized that she was different from the others. Children who were there, I didn't run, I didn't jump or scream, and I didn't see her either smiling. In a moment she noticed that I was watching her and disappeared among the children who they were there. After that, I only started to see her from afar, among the trees, far away from everyone. That made me very curious. I thought, is she alone? I thought. Until the night was starting to come and I saw her on the side of the house. She knew that I was watching her and trying to hide, as if she was calling me to play. I decided to follow her game and I followed in her footsteps, when suddenly she disappeared again. The time has come for congratulations from the matriarch of that family, so everyone gathered there to celebrate, including all the children who were present on the day. All but that girl. So I asked my boyfriend again, who said he had not seen the one. I was very confused and decided to go to the back of the house. It was almost night when I saw her walking through the trees. I quickly walked towards her. When I found myself, I was in the middle of an abandoned orchard that was at the back of the house. It was already getting dark, so I got really scared and started calling for the girl, asking her to come home and for us to talk. I walked and looked for around there. When I finally found her, she had her back to me looking at a old well. It had a structure of stones with wood and was covered with tiles. I asked if everything was okay with her, and she replied that yes, she was head over heels low and her expression was sad. I asked her where she lived and she said, _here. What is her name, girl? I asked her. Bethany. The girl replied. I told her to come with me so we could eat cake and be close to other people. And she said to me, I can't, I don't have permission. And so I asked why. And she said, I'm grounded. What I did was very serious. And I questioned her because I didn't understand what she was talking about. When suddenly she widened her eyes and said, he arrived. You'll see me out here and you'll fight me. He who? I asked her, looking around me to see if she saw anyone coming. And I didn't see anyone. When I looked again, Bethania was hiding behind the well. When I turned around to get close to her, she had disappeared. In a matter of seconds, she was gone. I didn't understand anything. So I went back to my boyfriend's aunt's house indignant, and I got there already talking. There is a girl being mistreated around here. We have to do something. Soon everyone came towards me and asked what was going on. So I explained who the girl was and also said her name. Then the matriarch of the family came towards me, and in her hands she held a photo album. She called me to sit on the couch and started showing me the pictures of her family. Even had pictures of her when she was little, black and white pictures, and many in one very bad state. In the middle of those photos with that lady there were other children, and in the middle of them I saw Bethany. Then she soon said, "It's her," pointing at the girl in the portrait. That was my cousin Bethania. Unfortunately, she passed away when she was still small. She died, victim of a madman who worked for our family. At the time I was very scared. I had seen and spoken with a ghost. I asked that lady to tell me this story better, and she continued, As soon as we moved here, Bethania's father gave me you uncle also came with his family. As the place was big, there was room for everyone and a lot of work too. My uncle and my father had to hire people to work in the maintenance of the farm. One of those officials who caused all this disgrace. Bethania suddenly disappeared. We all started looking for her and nothing and no sign of her. My uncle had planted that orchard, and there he too had ordered that well to be dug, said the lady. It had been a week since she had disappeared until my uncle suspected one of his men, and he began to spy on them in their services. Until she noticed that the caretaker, he was often going to the well in the orchard. When my uncle went to look at the well, his world fell. There was her daughter dead and already in advanced state of decomposition. At the time he took a gun and killed the caretaker in blood cold. The case at the time was in the newspaper, my daughter, said the lady. And she continued, everyone was disgusted with what had happened and nobody understood why. Until my uncle fell into a severe depression and committed suicide. Bethania's mother changed and we lost contact. As time went by, we saw the spirit of the girl in the backyard, on the farm, in the trees, around the house too. No one went to the orchard anymore. He was literally abandoned. And now you know a secret of our family, the lady told me. I started to feel really bad about that and asked to leave that place. I never returned to my boyfriend's family home, and to this day I still dream of that girl. Second story. Hello, my name is Frank, and I'm going to tell you about the nightmare I went through when I was finally able to buy my house and get out of rent. I always lived in rent in my life. My parents lived in rent for a long time, until they managed to conquer their own home. And it was no different for me either. I started working early and always putting together money. Until, after many years and a lot of effort, I managed to gather a good amount of money to give entry into a home loan. I was very happy because that had always been my dream, to conquer my home, my corner. I was very happy with everything, so I moved super excited. I made a super lunch and I invited my whole family. The first day I spent in my new house was incredible. My parents are of course super proud of me. Who knew that the rest of the days I would spend hell in that place? It all started on the first night. After everyone left, I started to listen. Noises in the kitchen in the middle of the night. I was scared, but I had to go there to see it, because there was only me there. When I got there, there was nothing. I looked all over the house and saw no one. So I decided, get back to my bed. And there again more strange noises that made me return to the kitchen again and living room to check what that could be. And again there was no one. In the days that passed, every day was difficult. Always the same story, strange noises, things out of place. Footsteps at dawn. I really couldn't understand what was going on. Was my house haunted? I was very scared, but that was my dream. I couldn't give it up. So I decided to talk to my parents to have a better opinion than to do about it. And they advised me to go to the real estate agency where I had gotten the house and ask about the history of that place, as well as asking the neighbors about the past from that house. And that's what I went to do. First I went to ask the neighborhood. Most didn't want to say much or said he didn't know what I was talking about. So I decided to go to the real estate office, and there the realtor also said he didn't know anything strange and that the house had been empty for a while. I found that very strange. When I was leaving, the secretary asked for my number. She didn't look like flirtatious, and when I contacted her, she told me about the house and its history. They were having a lot of difficulty selling that property because no one wanted to stay there for a long time. All with the same story as me about the house being haunted. She said that there had been a shootout where some people had died there, and it was also empty for a while, being used by drug users. It advised to sell the house and look for another one to buy. That messed with me a lot. That wasn't in my head. Really, the house was haunted. I tried to stay there for a few more days, but those damn ghosts wouldn't let me. I returned to my parents' house with a huge frustration. I put the house up for sale and managed to negotiate it. Nowadays I live in another house, very different and quiet, by the way. But I was really haunted, and ghosts do exist. And they are horrible nightmares, always with her running away from someone and ending up in the well. I always wake up in despair and breathless when I dream about it. Such a cruel and terrible case, and the worst part is that we will never know the real solution, nor the reason why the girl was murdered in such a cruel way. Third story. The ghost in the hospital window. Hi, my name is Sylvana. This experience I went through when I had a car accident, and I spent a few days at the hospital in my city. I stayed in a room whose window had a direct view of another room. I had broken my leg, so I couldn't walk straight and needed help to get me move around. I got very bored there as I didn't have much to do. My phone, it had broken in the accident, so I was still without the TV in the room. The control was not within my reach. That's when I started to notice the view from my window. This room was empty, since when I arrived there was no one there. Until when I realized it, I saw a woman there, so I didn't notice anyone coming, and I didn't see anything either. I thought it had arrived while I was sleeping. So I started looking at it as a hobby. I saw that the woman was also looking at my room. I thought it was strange because she was free and walked around the room. She didn't have access or anything. Her clothes were white. She was pacing back and forth all day in the room, and sometimes she disappeared too. I waited for her to look at me, and I wrote hello to her on a sheet of paper. She stood still looking at my room fixedly. She seemed to read what was written, but but she didn't show any reaction. She just kept walking in the room. I started to find it strange. I never saw a nurse going in there. My arm was already recovering better. I realized that my discharge was approaching, so I decided to ask the nurse who was that woman in that room across from mine. She went to the window, looked, and asked, "What woman? The room has been empty for a long time." That terrified me. "What do you mean?" More, I saw a woman there. She was walking. She had clothes of patient's white skin, short black hair. I swear," said the desperate nurse. Lou H. She laughed and said that I was seeing ghosts, and that was common in that hospital. It chilled my spine. And after that, I always dream about that place, with that room and with that woman there. Was she a spirit? A ghost? I don't know. I just know I saw it. And that was today's video. If you liked it, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications until the next video.